but before they agree to end their strike. Dr. Eliasu Momoni, National Secretary of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, voiced frustration, accusing the board of disregarding their warnings and breaching their trust. Earlier, Labour had welcomed the intervention to halt the transaction, only to be disillusionized by the National Pensions Regulatory Authority's subsequent approval of the clandestine sale. This demand for a board overhaul follows controversy over Social Security and National Insurance Trust defense of selling a 60% stake in its hotels to Rock City, amidst allegations of conflict of interest, currently under scrutiny by the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice. The Institute of Economic Affairs, IEA, is actively pursuing a presidential debate ahead of the 2024 elections. Professor Alexander Wilson Darku, a senior fellow at IEA, disclosed that discussions have commenced with various political parties and that a timetable will soon be released to the public, while emphasizing that the selection of participating parties and candidates will be rigorous based on robust criteria. Darku expects up to 5 candidates to participate in the debate. The front-runners for the 2024 election include John Dramani Mahama of the National Democratic Congress (NDC) and Vice President Mahmudu Bawumia of the New Patriotic Party (NPP), amongst others. Recently, Bawumia challenged Mahama to a debate aiming to allow Ghanaians to evaluate each candidate's proposed solutions to the country's economic challenges. He believes the election will largely revolve around these two personalities, warranting a platform for them to defend their visions for Ghana. Moving on, Rwanda's President Paul Kagame is seeking to extend his 24-year rule. In an election, analysts predict he will win by a landslide. Kagame, who has dominated every election since becoming president in 2000, faces only 2 contenders allowed by the state-run Electoral Commission, as other candidates were barred. Since his forces took power after the 1994 genocide, Kagame has been credited with Rwanda's economic revival and national unification. Despite accusations of suppressing opposition and targeting critics, he defends Rwanda's human rights record, asserting respect for political freedoms. About 9 million people are registered to vote, with the provisional winner expected by Tuesday morning. Most young Rwandans have known no other leader than Kagame, who has been in control since 2000. The 2 opposition candidates, Frank Habineza of the Democratic Green Party and independent Philippe Mpayimana, remain undeterred despite their low performance in the 2017 elections. Ethiopia and Sudan are showing renewed signs of stronger cooperation as they face the shared challenge of the Rapid Support Forces (RSF). Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed visited Port Sudan, where he and Sudan's General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan emphasized the importance of working together to address mutual concerns. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed expressed solidarity with the Sudanese people, stating that true friends appear in times of trouble. This visit marks a significant shift as Sudan's military junta had initially suspected Ethiopia of supporting the RSF. The gesture of unity between the 2 leaders signals a new chapter in Ethiopian-Sudanese relationships amid the ongoing wartime challenges. The Sudanese government has advised foreigners in Khartoum state of to leave as a precaution against escalating crossfire. State officials committed to protecting foreign nationals, issued the warning through the Khartoum State Security Affairs Coordination Committee. In related developments, Upper Nile State Governor James Odok Oyak reported an influx of displaced people fleeing conflicts in Sudan's Sennar and West Kordofan states in South Sudan, in South Sudan's broader border areas. Despite concerns, military and security sources have assured that the Heglig oil field remains secure, citing agreements with the Rapid Support Forces, that's the RSF, and oil companies to prevent infrastructure damage. However, the Rapid Support Forces RSF have seized agricultural equipment, seeds and fertilizers from villages in Al-Dinda, Sennar State, raising fears of a failed agricultural season. The Al-Dinda Emergency Room reported that the RSF, after recapturing the city on July 5th, used violence and intimidation to confiscate around 200 tractors and essential farming supplies, jeopardizing the upcoming harvest. Villages like Al-Farish and Kamrab, now RSF operational bases, have seen widespread looting and violence, forcing many residents to flee. The ongoing conflict has left Al-Dinda's 200 villages struggling with a humanitarian crisis marked by a lack of basic services and soaring prices. The emergency room has warned of rising deaths among vulnerable populations due to the closure of health facilities damaged in the conflict. You are still watching Africa News on Voice of the People TV. More stories after the break. Just stay with us. Welcome back and thanks for staying tuned. In a recent ruling, ECOWAS Court of Justice has dismissed 3 out of 4 claims in a lawsuit brought by Isaac Mensah, son of the deceased Peter Mensah from Ghana. The suit aimed to hold Ghana accountable for not investigating his father's disappearance, part of a group of 50 West Africans allegedly killed by a Gambian paramilitary unit in 2005. During Yahya Jammeh's rule, the court agreed with Ghana's government that the alleged human rights violation occurred outside Ghana's jurisdiction, specifically in the Gambia, when Ghana had no knowledge or access to intervene. Delivering the judgment, Justice Edward Amarko Asante stated that the courts lacked jurisdiction over claims related to Ghana's alleged failure to investigate Peter Mensah's disappearance, providing effective remedies or uphold the right to truth, as these events took place in the Gambia, not Ghana. However, the court affirmed jurisdiction over claims regarding Ghana's violation of the right to information under Article 9(4) of its protocol. The applicants argue that Ghana failed to disclose crucial information, including the 2009 UN/ECOWAS report, the pathologist's report on returned bodies, and details on funds disbursed by the Gambia to families. The ruling marks a significant development in the case, highlighting ongoing diplomatic efforts and commitments by Ghana to investigate new information in this sensitive matter. The conflict in Ethiopia's Amhara region continues to worsen nearly a year after the government's state of emergency declaration. Local news outlets report intense fighting between Fano forces and joint government forces. comprising the Defense Force and local militias. Clashes have been reported just 55 kilometers from the capital, Addis Ababa. Ethiopian media service based in the US and linked to the Amhara region reported battles in Kamash town, Minjia area. Fano spokesperson Nigatu Itafuro stated that government forces shelled the town, forcing Fano to withdraw to avoid civilian casualties. In Gondar, Fano forces reportedly approached the airport, leading to the cancellation of a festival event involving Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. The conflict has resulted in significant damage to government forces, with Fano's guerrilla tactics proving effective. Efforts to use local militias against Fano have fluttered as many defected to the rebel group. General Tefere Mamo's recent defection to Fano has blustered their movement. Meanwhile, the federal government claims victories against what it terms extremist forces, but the ongoing conflict has severely impacted education, healthcare, and the economy in the region. Meanwhile, suspected Ethiopian shifter gangs are demanding 300,000 Ethiopian birr for the release of abducted Sudanese refugees Karala Ali Juma. Officials from the Koma camp in the northwestern Amhara region announced Juma was kidnapped on July 5th while returning to the camp from the Olala area. Camp Supply Officer Omar Arija confirmed the ransom demand, stating it was beyond their means. Refugees in the area have organized a protest urging intervention from the governments of Sudan and Ethiopia to save the abductee. Adam Ali Dema, the victim's brother, expressed fears that Karala might be killed if the ransom is not paid. The shifter gangs are notorious for looting and robbing Sudanese refugees, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis in the Koma and Olala camps. General Tadezi Wareda, Vice President of the Tigray Interim Administration, announced Saturday that stringent measures will be taken to address rising security threats and crimes in Tigray. In a press briefing, General Tadezi emphasized that conventional policing is insufficient and pledged relentless efforts by security forces to restore order. The initiative targets all perpetrators, including government officials, security personnel, and investors involved in criminal activities. The announcement follows investigations after the November 2022 Pretoria Peace Agreement between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray People's Liberation Front. The administration has begun detaining suspects in serious crimes such as illegal iron ore smuggling. Meanwhile, Human Rights Watch continues to report human rights violations in the region, including forced removals of Tigrayans, described as an ethnic cleansing campaign. Additionally, local civil society organizations have criticized the regional administration for failing to curb gender-based violence, urging immediate action to ensure justice and security. Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly, during a meeting with high-ranking government officials from the Gulf, said he chaired a meeting with UAE representatives on renewable energy cooperation. The meeting focused on areas of joint cooperation in the renewable energy between Egypt and the UAE, as well as the localization of related industries. The cooperation with the UAE is to add 4 GW of renewable energy capacity to the power grid in the North African country starting next summer. The meeting was also attended by Egypt's Deputy Prime Minister Kamel Al-Waziri, Electricity and Renewable Energy Minister Mahmoud Ismat. Petroleum Minister Karim Badawi, Mazda's chief executive Mohammed Jamil Al Ramahi, and other officials from both countries. However, during the meeting, UAE's Industry Prime Minister and Mazda chairman Sultan Al Jaber emphasized that a solution to Egypt's energy problem with power outage is achievable. Al Jaber highlighted the importance of having a clear roadmap for the country's energy sector and outlined several mechanisms for cooperation in the short, medium, and long term. Abu Dhabi-based Mazda is involved in several ambitious green energy projects in Egypt. In cooperation with its joint venture Infinity Power and Cairo-based Hassan Alam Utilities, the company is developing a 10 GW wind project for which it signed a land access deal in May and a multi-phase green hydrogen project. Egypt has been recognized as the leading investment destination in Africa for 2023, according to a report by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. Despite global economic challenges, Egypt's commitment to adaptability and resilience has solidified its position. Egypt accounted for 18.6% of Africa's total foreign direct investment, FDI, in 2023, with investments reaching $52.6 billion. The Suez Canal Economic Zone secured agreements for green ammonia and green hydrogen projects worth a combined $10.8 billion. Multinational companies in the automotive, pharmaceutical, and electronics sectors increasingly chose Egypt as an investment hub. Additionally, Egypt introduced a one-stop shop system for investment projects in 2023, simplifying licensing and permitting procedures. Up next is business and sports stories. Stay with us. Welcome back. Now in business, the African Group has officially endorsed Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala for a second term as Director General of the World Trade Organization, WTO. The proposal, confirmed in a document from Chad, emphasizes the need for continuity in leadership to advance ongoing trade negotiations and prepare for the WTO's next ministerial conference in Cameroon. Okonjo-Iweala, who made history in 2021 as the WTO's first female and African leader, has until the end of November to decide on her appointment. There is speculations that she might be hesitant about a second term if Donald Trump wins the upcoming U.S. presidential election, due to Trump's previous opposition to her appointment and potential impact on the global trading system. Now to sports. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has officially inaugurated the Batiman Sports Complex, a state-of-the-art facility that played host to several events during the 2023 African Games. The complex was a hub of activity during the Games, which took place between March 8 and 23rd, and featured a range of competitive sports including table tennis, handball, tennis, volleyball, swimming, badminton, and the triathlon. The facility boasts world-class infrastructure, including a spacious swimming pool, a multi-purpose sports hall, and a temporary dome for various sports. The tennis court complex is another notable feature, with 5 courts for players to showcase their skills. Notably, Some of the events held at the Batiman Sports Complex also served as qualifiers for the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris, France, further highlighting the importance of this impressive sports complex. And that is it on Africa News on Voice of the People TV. Do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV. And on other social media handles, we're at VOP TV Live. I am Masinachi Okafor.